Hi, meet Ken and Wendy Knox. Ken and Wendy bought a Holden, Colorado from the Tait Group in Goondiwindi, Queensland, Australia. The vehicle turned out to be a lemon, and when Ken and Wendy complained, Holden and the Tait Group hung them out to dry. Being senior citizens and short of money and having nowhere to turn, they decided to demonstrate outside the dealership. So do you think Holden and the Tait Group finally decided to help or fix the problem? No. Ken has been issued with a false public nuisance fine, death threats from the company, and has been falsely charged with assault. Here is their story.
I'm Stuart from Lemon Vehicles in Oz Lobby Group. I'm here today with Ken and Wendy Knox in regards to the Colorado, oil guzzling Colorado. Just a little bit of background, the Colorados have been using a fair amount of oil. They've been changing engines in these vehicles, and Holden does not think it's a major issue, and they're not giving the consumer their rights under the ACL of their choice of remedy. Can you please tell us which make and model the Colorado is and when you purchased this vehicle and where from?
We bought it in December 2015 off Tait Toyota in Goondiwindi. It's an RG 2015 model.
Can you please let us know, Ken, why you chose the Colorado as your choice of vehicle?
The dealer sort of deterred us away from Toyota because he reckons these were the really good stuff these days. And
so in other words, when you approached the dealer, you were talking Toyota, and they actually steered you towards the Colorado and said that there were no problematic issues with the Colorados, that they've all been fine. And can you please tell us what your experience has been with the Colorado?
Yeah, we've had it for 2 years and it's been nothing but a problem, a nightmare. It's affected me, my wife's health, and because of the problems that this vehicle had, and it just hasn't got any better, and it just looks like we're going to be settled now for another 2 years, trying to get something done about this vehicle, because it's been 2 years. I just don't know what to say about it, because there's nothing good to say. I can assure you.
Can you explain what the actual issue is with this vehicle?
Yeah, well, in the first 10,000-15,000 k's, it used 3 litres of oil.
And 3 litres of oil?
Yeah, and we went to the dealership, and the service manager there told us, he said, that's quite normal. And I said, and he informed us at the time, there is a problem with these vehicles. And I asked him why we weren't informed, and we asked the question 10 times when we purchased this vehicle, is there any problem? And he assured us that Holden knew and Tait knew that there was a problem with these vehicles, but in their wisdom they thought it was a need to know thing, and they thought the purchaser didn't need to know there was a problem. And I asked him why, and he said, well, if we told everybody there could be a problem, no one would buy them. Well, I can assure you that I wouldn't even put in mind a thought about buying one if they had informed me at the time.
Okay, so in this case, when Ken and Wendy complained to the dealership about the faults with their vehicle, they were advised that there was a problem with this make and model. However, it was on a need-to-know basis, and the general public would not be advised, because this may result in nobody purchasing these vehicles. So in a very similar case, a gentleman by the name of Kimbo Hansen actually made a complaint online in relation to his lemon Holden Colorado that was guzzling way too much oil. The response that he received from Motorama, who are a Holden dealership in Queensland, stated, and I quote, "Hi Kim, it is unfortunate that you haven't taken up Holden Australia's offer to test your car and give you a full refund if problems you claim exist." Mind you, this dealership had already offered Kimbo a replacement car before backing out at the last minute. They had also done several consumption tests on Kimbo's vehicle, as have been done on Ken and Wendy's, and instead of trying to fix the problem, they'd rather publicly call their customers liars. Little does everyone know that Holden the Motorama Group and the Tait Group in Goondiwindi are all liars. Through our sources, we were able to obtain an internal letter issued from Holden to all of its dealerships on the 4th of December 2015, stating in writing that there is a fault with the RG Colorado, specifically an oil consumption fault. Based on this evidence, not only are Holden and their dealerships lying to their customers, they are knowingly selling customers faulty vehicles. As this letter was issued on the 4th of the 12th 15, and Ken and Wendy had purchased their vehicle on the 24th of the 12th 15. This in fact is a major breach of the ACL, the Australian Consumer Law.
Ken, when you were demonstrating with your vehicle outside the dealership, what did this lead to?
Well, it led to me being charged with public nuisance, and then and following that, a few weeks later, I was charged with assault.
Ken and Wendy, having nowhere to go, decided to demonstrate outside the dealership with some signs. They were approached by a local council worker who advised that they were acting illegally and advised that they needed a permit to demonstrate. The council worker then advised that he would return with a permit shortly. However, he returned with the police. This is what happened next.
Really need to I need to get you to do is move your signs. Unfortunately, it's a prohibited activity that you're currently doing. You can't have the signs here. You can park here for as long as you want. You just can't have the signage.
Is that right? You gonna lock me up, are you?
Sorry?
You gonna lock me up?
It's not a lockable offence, it's a finable offence though, mate.
Oh, I've got a court then.
It's a $2,500.
I've got a court, I've got no money.
So
These bastards, he stole me money.
well, I just really need you can park here for as long as you want.
Oh, I'm parked here.
But you can't leave the signs up. The signs have to be moved.
They're stopping up.
Sorry?
You went to get me a permit. I want the permit you went to get for me.
You can either move the signs.
You went to get a permit for me.
You see, the thing with permits too is they don't always get approved. So
You didn't try to get one?
They didn't even try and get one for me so I could make it legal.
So if you would like to pack up and go down and try and get a permit, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll be down in another half an hour when I get okay and I'll come down.
Well, the signs have to come down until then, so.
And this incident actually led to Ken receiving a fine for $378 for being a public nuisance. In our opinion, it appeared that the Goondiwindi Council was trying to protect the Tait Auto Group. We have no idea why, but after some research we did find this short clip.
Goondiwindi to Toowoomba and back again. It's a road trip significantly improved by good company.
There's plenty of chatter and we get to know who's who in the zoo around the place. It's not that far really.
A laugh or two helping relax Goondiwindi residents heading in for treatment.
I have to come down here, yes, I had to come to the X-ray place over the road, so not in Goondiwindi.
Getting locals here for services is a whole of community effort. Goondiwindi Council, Darling Downs Health Service and PHN organising funding, local business, Tait Toyota maintaining the wheels and generous volunteers putting their hand up to drive.
It just goes to show that, you know, with a bit of innovative thinking and a bit of support, funding and community support, that, you know, we can actually deliver a service like this to the community.
Can you explain to us what basis was behind this and the events that led up to the assault charges and the public nuisance fine?
He said, well, I'm quite happy to give you a ticket for being a public nuisance. And I said, oh, well, you do what you do. And anyway, so they give me the ticket. And then in their wisdom, they come back 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later and they said, Mr. Knox, you're going to be charged for assault now for this problem too. The lady I want to protest, she just stopped in her vehicle and she had the door open and I just grabbed the door and held the door and I spoke to this lady. I did not touch the lady at all. So I don't know what would you call assault, but that's just about what happened. And next thing, the police turned up. So
these ladies that were touching your signs, which were up against your vehicle, which is basically your property. Have you seen these ladies before?
No, well, I have not talked to any of these women. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know who they were until of the time of this incident. So,
Wendy, can you tell me how old Ken is?
Ken is 63.
Has he ever committed an offence previously of assault or anything like that with anyone?
No, never.
So you've never known Ken to be a violent or aggressive person?
No, he's not a violent person. No.
So now the local Queensland Police also charged Ken with common assault. In our opinion, it appears that perhaps they're also trying to protect the Tait Auto Group. We have no idea why, but we did find this local article of the Tait Auto Group donating a vehicle to the local police. So it appears that the Tait Auto Group has donated both a vehicle to the local council and to the local police department. If anything, this is most certainly a conflict of interest.
Ken, I believe there's further events that took place while all this was going on. Can you please elaborate on that?
Yeah, about an hour or so after this incident being fined, my phone kept ringing and rang and rang and rang. Anyway, I answered this phone when I did pull up, and there was a man on the phone named, and he said I'm a Tait manager of Tait Auto Group, and he said, mate, you don't know who you're dealing with here. And he said I'm going to come and bash you and kill you, and I said, mate, you can't talk like that. And he said, well, I am, he said. So he said, I'm coming after you. And I said, well, you can do your best. And that's about all we said. So I hung up on this person. And then I drove around to the police station and informed them of this problem. And they said, we will investigate, but nothing has come result of that sort of thing, like of the investigation. And we went and seen a day or two.
So did they actually take your complaint, or?
Well,
do you know? Did they give you a complaint number?
No, they would not give me one, because they know it's in the officer's book and it hasn't been into the system.
So there you go. The local police wouldn't even officially take Ken's report, let alone act on it. We investigated the death threat made to Ken and actually managed to trace the phone number back to a business owned by the Tait Auto Group. The man who made the death threat against Ken is actually the ex-partner of the lady who has falsely charged Ken with assault. The lady who'd placed the charges against Ken is an ex-employee of the Tait Auto Group, who also has family in the Queensland Police Force. This situation seems all a bit too one-sided. However, we want to leave it to you to decide. Ken has been given a court date from which no legal professional is willing to take on his case due to conflicts of interest. In other words, the Tait Auto Group has too much pull in the area. So we need somebody who can potentially help Ken and Wendy through this legal battle. We have set up a GoFundMe page to help Ken and Wendy raise funds to fight these false assault charges laid against Ken. A little bit of help from you all will allow us to help these pensioners. Thank you. And most of all, this is to the ACCC. What are you doing about this?